Hello there, Stanley Carr here. I love collecting music and sports memorabilia. Want to know where you can find some? I'll tell you. Go to oldglory.com. This website features one-of-a-kind apparel from your favorite sports teams and musical artists. And I can help you get 15% off of all items. Use the code WWH135. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to Wrestling with Heart, a podcast looking at pro wrestlers giving back to their community. Join me, Stanley Carr, as I interview wrestling's hottest names who use their platforms as entertainers to raise awareness and do community service.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Wrestling with Heart. This is the show where we talk with professional wrestlers and professional wrestling personalities about their lives in and outside of the ring, as well as doing acts of charity work, community service, volunteering, and spreading positivity. We're always about the positive vibes here on the show. And with me right now, I've got a very special guest. He is with Island Pro Wrestling out in Canada. Pleased to welcome DemoniK. Welcome to Wrestling with Heart.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Basically, super excited to be here, man. You're exactly right. I'm from Canada, the East Coast. We operate in Prince Edward Island.
Wow. So you're over by the Maritimes.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. What part of Canada are you from originally?
I'm actually from Newfoundland. I'm from a small town in central Newfoundland called Grand Falls, Windsor. Small place. I lived there till I was like 17.
Okay. Were you always a big wrestling fan?
Yeah, I got into it probably about age 4 or 5, somewhere around there. My grandfather, my mom's side, I spent a lot of time with him. And he was into it, and I think the first thing I remember watching is like WrestleMania 1 on like the old VHS.
Yeah, it's amazing because that was such a hot period. You had Hogan, you had Andre, you had Roddy Piper, you had Superfly Jimmy Snuka, just a who's who, Tito Santana, wide array of guys in the 80s. Captain Lou Albano, him and Cyndi Lauper made some appearances together on MTV, a
Mhm.
lot of crossover. So it was a really hot time to be a fan.
Yeah, my whole childhood, like I'm a little bit of an older guy, so my childhood would have been the 80s, which is like the boom period, really, right? Like Hulkamania hits, it explodes. Next thing you know, wrestling's cool. You got rock stars and stuff showing up at shows, so it was really cool to watch. Especially like the Hogan Warrior era, like that particular feud for me was huge because I was like the perfect age for it.
Did you know right then and there that this is what you wanted to do?
Uh, I think that came later. Um, when I was a kid, it was like Hulk Hogan was like Superman. You know what I mean? Like regardless of the man's flaws revealed later, the character of Hulk Hogan was a very aspirational character. Like it was, say your prayers, take your vitamins, do your training, and good things will happen. So basically, that whole boom period is when I got into it, and because of that, I have a special place in my heart for like the particularly the late '80s to early '90s.
Yeah, the golden era, rock and wrestling. Fans still recall that time period being one of the hottest, along with the Attitude Era that came a little bit later on. What age did you start training?
42.
Oh, so yeah, so definitely came a bit later on.
Yeah. Man, I don't even know how to tell this story. When I was in my early 20s, I was training for it, and TNA Impact had a gut check program, but it was different than what people know it as now. Back then, this would be like 2006, three-ish. It was a weekend tryout where you could sign up, go, get evaluated, and potentially get offered a development deal with TNA, or at least get pointed to a reputable school. So I had signed up for that when I was like 21, 22, somewhere around there. And I was supposed to go to Nashville. I had everything lined up, and I backed out. I didn't believe in myself looking back. And I shelved it for a long, long time. And then my spouse, who I've been with for almost 21 years now, um, she got cancer. So while she was in treatment, um, I just had this now or never kind of thing. And so we went through that together while I was training. And basically, at 42, I showed up to my first wrestling class with a bunch of 20-year-olds. And yeah, that was June 2023.
Wow. Yeah, that's very, it's hard, when you got so much that you're going through and you face so many setbacks, but now you're having the chance to live out your dream and pursue this passion. Um, let's go back to that time period though, first being able to have that experience like trying out for TNA, one of the biggest promotions in North America. Um, what was kind of going through your mind at first when you started getting a feel for the business, and what made you kind of go, I don't know if I want to do this at the moment.
I think it was just fear, like just plain fear, because at 20, I think I was 22. Um, I just, at 22, you're still a kid. I don't care what anybody says. Um, I wasn't mentally strong enough to believe in myself. Um, the craziest thing that I have learned about uh, life, I guess, from pro wrestling is that opportunities do not wait until you're ready. So if you're waiting to be ready for something, you're probably never going to get to see it because you're waiting for some sign from the universe that you're ready to go. And I've learned a lot of times just having the courage to take the hit is more important.
Yeah, that's a very valuable lesson to learn, especially that young, because you're trying to figure out what you want to do. And I think that I think going through the motions, you certainly want to get in the right mindset when you're starting out and you want to do this. A few years in, getting the training, basics, learning so many different things. Talk to me about some of the pointers that you're being given when attending wrestling school, because when I've talked to a lot of people on the show and share their experiences, they talk about making sure you listen to everything, don't say anything, try to pay as much attention as you can. What were some things that you learned and picked up right away that you can tell me that you can recall from your time attending wrestling school?
I'd say those are givens. Like if you're gonna pay for a course, you should show up and pay attention. Like that to me should be like common sense. But I think the thing that I was told the most when we first started was slow down, slow everything down. And then they would say things to us like, when you feel like you're going slow, slow down a little bit more. And then when you feel like you can't possibly go any slower, go just a little bit slower, and then you're almost there.
So you have to find that lane where you're able to do the moves properly and execute it without hurting anybody else and do it safely and try to do it in a way where the moves look perfect.
Actually, come to that, while I was in training, I started training in June, and I think it was August or September. Um, a student who was later found to be drinking before classes got a little aggressive with me on an arm drag and tore two tendons in my shoulder. So yeah, like you have to be very, very careful because you're dealing with people's bodies. Um, I ended up having complete reconstructive surgery. I didn't know how bad I was hurt. I had like 15, 16 matches with two complete tears and a torn bicep.
That is definitely tough, but you're able to pull it out and stick it out. And we're talking about it today, and it's like it's not an easy thing to be able to say I'm a professional wrestler because I'm going out there night after night, taking so many risks and putting my body on the line. And injuries can happen, and you
Oh,
got to be
absolutely. Sorry.
injuries can happen, and you got to make sure you're able to pivot, make sure that you're able to get in get in everything you need to, pull back when you have to, and finish the match.
Yeah, I was hurt in training, so I went into my first match hurt. So I just didn't. I thought I was hurt. I didn't know I was injured. You know what I mean? Like it turned out I was pretty severely injured. Uh,
Do you remember having to? Do you remember when you found out that it was an injury and not just I was banged up? I was hurt.
I remember it was quite a while because I went and I got it was a lot shorter of a wait to get an X-ray than an MRI. So they X-rayed my shoulder after I got hurt, and they were like, "You probably have a partial tear." So I was rehabbing a partial tear. But in reality, I had two of the four tendons in your rotator cuff completely torn, and I had a torn bicep on top of that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you experience it, you know what you're doing because you learn from your mistakes and learn from being in there before, but like once you start having that experience, you start getting more comfortable in there. Was that your story? You were able to kind of like know sort of like what to do because I'd already done something here that I wasn't expecting?
Um, I was very fortunate. My first match was a Royal Rumble style match. So I got to get the jitters out with just a short spot. I was only out there about 5, 6 minutes. Um, I got eliminated. I went back to the back. So I kind of got to get that first performance jitter out of the way in a safe environment. I went in, I hit my shine a little bit. I did a couple of things. I brawled with somebody in a corner, and the next thing you knew, I was in. So it was all over quite quickly. 100% my first singles match was memorized. It was okay. This comes next, then this, then this, then this. Looking back, very mechanical. So I would say what you're saying is accurate. Of course, with repetition, with time, you get better with any discipline, regardless of what that is. But I feel like right before I had my surgery, things were just starting to click, and I've just returned in December. So I'm really excited for what 2026 has to bring.
Well, let's talk about your character. What made you decide to come up with the character?
DemoniK is kind of like a horror villain, I would say. The story of DemoniK is the vessel, myself, has sold his soul for the ability to become a professional wrestler, to live his dream before he got too old. So it's kind of personal. Um, and then the rest of it is going to be expanded upon this year. It's a demon possession thing. There's a lot of religious imagery and stuff in my promos, even though I don't think people notice it. Like I always keep the mask on the left hand side. Left hand is the sign of the devil. In my promos, when I'm in my suit and tie as the vessel, there's always a cross made out of candles on the table. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed that, but I have these little tie-ins, and some of the verbiage I use is, if not biblical, then theology in origin. So I tend to get a lot of inspiration from my upbringing. Being from Newfoundland, it was a small community, and the schools were tied in with the church. So from kindergarten all the way through high school, I was in a Catholic school. So I had to listen to Bible verses and read the Bible and all that stuff. So I kind of drew some of that for what demonic is and will become.
Are there any wrestling influences in your character as well?
I'd be lying if I'd say Bray Wyatt wasn't an influence, because like the look, the mask itself. I do have a tattoo of Bray Wyatt as well. My whole shoulder here is the Fiend. So I'd be lying if I said he wasn't an influence, but I'm trying to do my own spin on it. We never really got to see what he was doing, so it would be interesting to know where he was going to eventually put it. I know becoming immortal kind of shed a little bit of light on it, but we'll never know exactly what he had planned. For me, it's I'm hoping to be a sympathetic villain. You know, you can hate demonic but feel bad for the vessel. That's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Who would you say have been some of the your favorite opponents that you've gotten to be in the ring with during your time in the business so far?
Uh, Faced him as a couple of different people. He's had different characters, but I love getting in there with one of the guys I trained with, Johnny. It's just fun because he was my first singles match. We always cross paths. We have him at IPW, IHW. We have him at IPW quite often, and we met actually at IHW, which is where we trained.
Who would you say, if you had to pick like a dream opponent to wrestle, who would it be and why?
Is this like all time or current?
Anyone. It could be somebody from the current roster or a legend, somebody you wish to face, someone you could even hope to face in the future.
Oh, geez. I would say if it was all time, it would be probably Jake the Snake Roberts in his prime. Um, I do my promos a little different than a lot of wrestlers. A lot of wrestlers come at you like, on September the 15th, I'm going to, like, they come screaming at you. I often start my promos with hello, and I just go from there. Like, I try to keep it calm and reserved as opposed to what Demonic's going to do when he gets in there. I try to provide a contrast. Like I said, Jake the Snake Roberts is an influence as far as like cadence and tone are concerned. Um, Bray Wyatt for like the creativity and the duality. Like I'll often refer to demonic as a separate entity. Like I'll say demonic tells me something, so that there's a separation between who and what the vessel is and what demonic is.
Yeah, it'd be that those are some really good influences and if you're into that kind of thing, it's I could see the influences that you have and I think those would be some pretty good opponents. If you ever had, if you ever had the chance to step in the ring with them, those would be good ones.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously fantasy booking. Today's day and age, he's not the most technical wrestler, but Darby Allin might be insane. Like that guy just
He can do a lot of
Like,
different things, crazy things.
yeah, and his ability to absorb punishment is just like his pain tolerance must be ridiculous. But like he would be an interesting opponent just because you never know what that would entail, right? Like a coffin match with him, that would be fun.
Yeah. Now, I want to switch gears and talk about some of the stuff you've done outside of wrestling. I know you've been very involved with helping out in your community, doing things involving charity work. What kinds of activities have you been able to do in your community over the years?
My shoot job, as they say, is I'm a youth care worker with an organization known as Youth Impact. We work with at-risk youth through the community, a series of like outreach programs and residential programs and things like that. That's I'd say would be primarily my charity work. The lion's share comes through that. Because of course, Rachel's diagnosis and recovery. I'm also active in the CIBC Run for the Cure every year. I participate in breast cancer fundraising, and because of that, Rachel and myself, she runs her own um, craft business where she donates, I believe it's 30% of the proceeds go to breast cancer research and like funding and recovery programs. And the other thing we do is IPW works with the PEI Humane Society, and we promote them with our furry friends. We also do a 50-50 draw at every show where we donate the proceeds of our side to the Humane Society. So every show you go to with IPW, you get to give back to the Humane Society in your local community. And then myself, I do a little more. My family's been affected by breast cancer. Um, Rachel's family has always been involved in foster care and things like that. So helping out in a youth capacity is a big deal to me. Um, I was very fortunate. I had a great upbringing. My parents were great and everything, but not everybody's so lucky through circumstances, addiction, trauma. You never know. There's a varying list of reasons and situations as to how these youth end up in our care. And all I can say is that I'm glad we're in a society where there's somewhere for them to go.
Kudos to you for being able to help out, because you never know what people are going through and they need that guardian or father figure or mentor in their life that's able to help them kind of get in the right direction. And so you're out there making a difference, putting a smile on their face and giving them guidance so that they're able to be uplifted in the world. That's what we need is just people that are able to mentor and spread encouragement to those that need it the most, that are able to pay it forward to the next generation. What would you say has been the most rewarding part about helping the youth?
Uh, it's little moments. It comes and goes. It could be something as simple as a kid who never says thank you if you give them an extra snack and they look at you and say, "Yeah, you know what, man, thank you." Like just little things like that. Like just the little moments where they get to be a kid and they don't have to worry about whatever stressful situation or condition or whatever it is that's put them in our care. Those are the moments that stick out to me. Uh, we were very fortunate. We had a youth leave our program and go to university. Um, he went on to engineering. I think he's in his second year now. Um, like we've had some successes, and that's kind of how you know that it works. And for every time that you see somebody choose a wrong path, if you get one or two that work out, and even if that just becomes them being self-sufficient and just working a 9 to 5 kind of thing, but just to see them succeed, that's that's the best part.
Definitely seems like when you're able to put a smile on their put a smile on their face and give them joy in their life, you know you've done your job. Kindness just the more we can give encouragement, I think the better off it'll boost their self-esteem and their self-worth, and it just really just it just goes to show you, that they feel empowered, that they can do anything that they set their mind to. And you've been able to pursue your dream and to kind of tell these people, hey, if you can pick something you want to do and pursue your dream, you can make it. So being able to be there for them, help them get to where they need to go, and see how far they've come, it really is. It really is an amazing feeling.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like genuinely, the best part of it is seeing the growth. Um, I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, you get to help somebody who sometimes, I mean, for one reason or another, maybe the system has failed them, right? Like, not everybody, equal opportunity is not equal outcome. You know what I mean? Like, just because everybody has the same opportunity doesn't mean everybody has access to the same end game outcome. And that's really all I would say I would want for those kids, is for them to have the same opportunities as anybody else.
Why do you feel passionate about giving back to your community?
I'd say because at a certain point, I recognized that I was very fortunate in my life. My parents are still together to this day. Um, I have two brothers. I have my three sons. Rachel's cancer free. I'm very fortunate in my life. Um, when I was a manager at a warehouse, I was miserable. I hated going to work. I genuinely hated it. I mean, the money was good, but I hated it. And then after the pandemic, I switched careers right towards the end of the pandemic. I went into this youth care, and I don't regret it for a second. Like, even the bad days where, like somebody's in crisis or having an issue or whatnot, even then, you can understand that that person has been through things that at that age they may not know how to process. So you can, if you can learn to look past the behaviors and see the causes, you can you can work with it a lot better.
One step at a time, changing someone's life for the better. That's what it's about. Well, this has been wonderful getting the chance to speak with you. I want to say thank you for coming on to Wrestling with Heart. It means a lot to me and to my listeners and viewers that are watching this on YouTube. Where can people find out more about you on social media? And if there's anything you want to plug, feel free.
Uh, Myself, I'm DemoniK. You can find me at Pray to DemoniK. That's Pray number two DemoniK with a K. DemoniK Wrestler on Facebook. If you want to reach out and see the Mrs.'s cancer support, she's Strength and Style. And of course, I am on the board of IPW, Island Pro Wrestling. So we have a show coming up February 28th, Charlottetown, PEI, Final Frost. Going to be a banger. Dog collar match has been announced. Lumberjack match has been announced. Going to be a night to remember.
All right. Well, thanks again, and you're more than welcome to come back.
Great, man. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it. And you have a great day, man.
You too. Take care.
This is Wrestling with Heart. I hope you found this podcast to be informative and entertaining. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and look out for the next edition.